Man, I'd be lying if I said it was easy being a different kind of person. I'd be lying if I said it was easy trying to be a spiritual person while dealing with the fact that if you care about things that most of your friends or your family do not care about, if you walk a path that most people don't understand, I'd be lying if I said it was easy. Um, I've lost many friends. I've gotten rid of many friends because they didn't have the same idea of life that I did. Because most of them didn't really care about figuring out why we're here or trying to determine for themselves a purpose to life, even if there's no grand cosmic order that decides why we're here. At least try to figure out why you're living, not just falling into the same old patterns and dogma that most people fall into. You know, I've reached a point where I'm starting to realize, even with the friends that I have left, there's a there's a big divide. There's a big difference between us and what we care about, what we're interested in. I might be studying this or that spiritual thing. I might be very interested in magic, the occult, meditation, trying to figure out the gods and goddesses, and trying to figure out their relationship to the grander whole, the source God. And my friends may be more interested in talking about, I don't know, what they did last week, uh, family issues. Hey, isn't this place awesome? And let's drink and let's talk about the trials and tribulations of our lives that have nothing to do with actually working past them. Uh, you know, there's something to be said for small talk and getting to know somebody, and even somebody you've known for quite a while, just talking with them. But when you're just constantly interested in other things than your friends are or your family members are, it's like there's this wall around you that's invisible to most people's eyes, but you are very aware of. Um, I don't walk the spiritual path that I walk, the path of magic and spirituality, and trying to understand the deeper nature of existence. I don't walk it because I want to. I have to walk it. Don't have any other choice. If I walked another path, then I just can't. I can't go back to the person that I was. I can't go back to being interested in what I used to be interested in, materialistic things, the average conversations you might have with the opposite sex. I've been through many relationships. The average conversations you might have, even with your friends that you've known for a long time. I'm always interested in that which is elevating ideology, elevating understanding, trying to just figure things out. And when those around you aren't interested in that, it's like you're a different species. It feels like you're the last of your kind, a dying race. And despite what most people believe, I actually believe humanity is moving forward. You know, we talk about how stupid a lot of people are nowadays, but segregation, it wasn't even that long ago in the United States, and that was far stupider than anything happening now. Segregation was, I guess you could say, the height of stupidity in the past, several decades. Um, so, I think that one of the biggest problems with humanity right now is that we're connecting in ways that we've never connected before, and we're starting to see how dim most people are and what most people care about, how materialistic they are, and we're starting to try and figure out how to exist as a society with the amount of technology we have. The technology, in a way, is increasing at a rate that we don't have the responsibility in which to use it. We don't have the understanding to become a society where the connection that we have over social media around the world, or the technology that we have at our fingertips, we haven't reached a point where we can really figure out how to use it to its greatest effect as far as the progress of humanity. And we're just having all of the problems we've always had amplified a bit, and that's why people think we're getting worse. We're stupider now than we were. And there's something to be said about one's idea of the past. A lot of the time, We're at ground zero in the present, and this is why we can see all the problems now. But in the past, we the only ideas of the past that we have are, learning about it through books, stories, TV shows, history, learning about it from a third-hand point of view. We don't see all the stupidity that happened back then as well. We have this idea of the past, but we didn't experience it. But we're experiencing the now, so we have this idea that these problems are so much bigger and so much more numerous than what we had in the past, but that's not true. We just happen to be able to view them all right now, and we can't view all the things that we had wrong with society in the past. I have hope for people. I have hope for humanity. Even more so than I think most people in society, even though I disagree with most of societal ideas and standards, I still think that we're actually moving forward. And we're reaching a point, we're at a point to where we're starting to realize how corrupt politics has always been. We're starting to realize how ridiculous so many of our social systems and our standards when it comes to, what makes a happy life, what makes a content life, what makes a person valuable. It's not that much different than it was. We're just starting to realize the flaws of the human standards that really started, for us now anyway, at the start of the Industrial Revolution. That's when the cards got reshuffled. And we never really prepared for that, and we got thrown into that. And now we're thrown into information age, technological era, and we weren't really prepared for it. But we will come out of it. I just wish I saw around me. I wish at ground zero, where I'm at, where you're at right now, that I saw a greater interest for the nature of reality. We see a greater interest in science and foreign ideas of spirituality, like my interest in Hinduism and me becoming a Hindu. But only if you really look for those people. I just can't wait for a day where the basic ideas I have about existence, even if they're completely wrong, just where awareness of those ideas is the standard. And it's coming. It's just frustrating where I'm at right now and where a lot of people are at looking around them. There's always going to be people that want to rewind the clock, try to take us back to an age where they thought we were better. Their idea of that age is far better than that age, I guarantee you, 99% of the time. There's always going to be people that want to wipe the slate clean, say, okay, let's just start over. Let's just bring it all back down to zero. But I guarantee you, even if we start over and bring it back down and reboot the whole world, and some of the scariest of those people are the ones that want to do it with violence and destroying everything. But even if we rebooted everything, we'd still go through the same issues, the same problems. We still have to overcome the same obstacles. That's what those people who have this idea of us being better in the past don't realize. We're working through what we've always needed to work through right now. Let's get through it. We have to. There's no other way. And let's not lose hope. And even if I completely disagree with, let's say, a Christian conservative, right-winger, or a libertarian, I'm a very liberal person myself, very spiritual, but I don't consider myself religious. I'd call myself a spiritual liberal. These things aren't necessarily connected in me, but there are two things that I consider myself as. Let's say somebody that's very, very so-called religious, dogmatic, they wouldn't call themselves dogmatic, and conservative. Even if I disagree with that person completely on almost anything, almost everything, I think that me and that person need to work through the problems now instead of imagining that, if certain things changed back then, if we stayed the same, we wouldn't have the same problems. No, we've always needed to work through these things. We've always needed to. And I'm open to discussion. I always am. Always willing to talk to people who disagree with me, who believe something else. Because that's how humanity moves forward. We bounce ideas off each other, and we relate to one another, and we start to realize, okay, maybe the other side has a point, because far too often is it the case where we just don't We just don't care what somebody else has to say. We're just waiting to say what we want to say. And we're so fixed on the ideas that we have that we're not even willing to consider the other side. Even as somebody who feels very strongly about his beliefs, I realize that I have to consider other people's beliefs. And only through cooperation can we move forward as a species. That's the only way. Working through these issues. And eventually there will be a grander human consensus. It won't be this constant duality and polarity that we feel like is more prominent now, but really isn't. It's always been this way. Whether it be religious, political, societal, doesn't matter. Materialism versus anti-materialism. Do not be afraid of the moment. Do not be afraid of this time. Use the time you have right now. Let's use this opportunity to work through what we have to work through. And that's coming from somebody who is very, very jaded, I'm feeling right now. But I'm just, despite myself, I'm a being of hope. And I think that ultimately humanity is too. We just have all these ideas that bring us down, and we let them bring us down. But we are a species of hope. I don't know if I'm pretty sure there's other intelligent life in the universe, but even if there isn't, one of our defining aspects is that we have the ability to work together, and we have the ability to hope for a better tomorrow. And we have to work towards that. As cliche as that sounds, we have to work towards that. So, we're moving forward. And I invite you as a fellow human being, no matter who you are, to join with me in moving forward with our lives so that we can reach greener pastures, I guess you could say. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. This has been kind of a rant. And, I haven't even decided a title for this rant, but it's some things that I felt like I needed to say. So, hey, thank you very much for watching. I hope all of you enjoyed this video. If you want to support me on Patreon, shoot it up there. Well, the link is up there. www.patreon.com/darkrealist. Capital D, capital R. I only ask for $1 a month for a subscription on Patreon, and you get access to writings that I do. You get notified when my YouTube videos come out, and there's some videos on there that you wouldn't get access to unless you become a patron. And I only ask for $1 a month. If you want to give me more, that'd be great. But at any rate, let's do this together. And that's all I have to say.